Within southern New Zealand is an unusual geologic oddity. Along a popular beach are a series of several hundred large, near-perfect circular boulders. These boulders each measure about 2 meters or 6.6 feet wide, which stand out against the finely grained sand of the landscape. Even more interesting is what becomes visible from groups of boulders which were cracked open by nature. Inside, some of these boulders contain a colorful bright orange core, much like seen in this example. These boulders are referred to as the Moeraki boulders and have an unusual geologic origin. So, are these geodes? How long do they take to form? This video will discuss this geologic oddity and how they formed. The Moeraki boulders are located on the southeastern section of the South Island of New Zealand. Specifically, they are located on a beach which is 64 kilometers northeast of the city of Dunedin. Even from satellite, you can see the numerous rounded boulders on this beach. Despite what you might think, these massive boulders are not geodes. They are not volcanic in origin, so they are also not thunder eggs. Rather, they are a type of rounded sedimentary structure known as a concretion. For a quick reference, what I am holding right now is an example of a concretion which is very close in appearance to many of these boulders. I found this partially broken piece in Montana which contains yellow calcite on its inside. Much like many of the Moeraki boulders, what I am holding is a subvariety of a concretion classified as a septarian nodule. Although not nearly as large as the aforementioned boulders, it has a similar origin. These nodules are almost always fluorescent, hinting that their centers once contained organic material. You heard that correctly, the center of the vast majority of these large boulders once contained an ancient fossil. The Moeraki boulders originated between 65 and 56 million years ago during the Paleogene period. Although New Zealand was much closer to the South Pole than it is today, the overall climate was much warmer. Numerous ancient plant and animal species existed in the landscape. The site of the eventual boulders was likely a shallow coastal lagoon. As ancient organic material fell into the lagoon and was buried, a chemical reaction began. As fatty acid from the organic material diffused into the surrounding rock, layers of calcium carbonate began to precipitate around the rock. This calcium carbonate occurred as the mineral calcite, causing layers of yellow and orange crystals to surround the center of the ever-growing concretion. As the concretion continued to expand in size, the calcite acted as glue which held together layers of mudstone within the ever-expanding nodule. This occurred over a long-term chemical reaction until the fatty acid within the center of the stone was gone, causing the reaction to stop. This process was originally thought to take several million years to occur. However, more recent studies have suggested that the formation of these large concretions only took a few years. Thus, thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of large concretions remain buried in the landscape for millions of years. Eventually, the ground surrounding these concretions was uplifted and the surrounding mudstone was eroded away via interaction with waves and wind. Since the concretions were much harder than the surrounding mudstone, they remained while the rest of the rock disintegrated. This left behind numerous round boulders which have remained in the landscape ever since. Around the beach, you can find large boulders still stuck in their original source rock. The reason why some of these large boulders do not contain colorful calcite is that sometimes the seal created by their formation was incomplete. Thus, the calcite in some specimens dissolved over time. I hope that you enjoyed this video.